All right, looks like we had a rough time getting the first video started. So, this morning, we're going to be talking about affordable housing for 2022. I made a previous video yesterday, so it's a busy little week we're going to be having. And we're going to be talking about kind of the expectation of the economy with low income housing and affordable housing. This video is a live video, at least for now. It is around 11 a.m. Texas time, maybe a different time for you guys in other states. If you find the video later today, just realize that this will no longer be a live video. You'll be able to see the comments, but So, anyways, today's date is 12, 22, 21. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you guys. I know in a couple of days, Santa Claus should be on the roof of most houses visiting all the good children. And for those that were bad, I suppose you'll get a lump of coal. So, all right. So, I'm going to talk about a couple of statistics, okay? And some of this information I've gotten clearly from other experts. And when I say experts, I mean people that work in the housing markets in a different capacity, including executives of banks and different people that have an understanding of the market in a different way than I do, because I deal specifically with people seeking housing through housing authorities, PHAs, low income housing, affordable housing, so on. These are the people that deal more in the financial aspect, and they have a good understanding as well. They have a different view of it, all the same. And so, while I want to let you guys know again, this is a live video. You can chat with me. I don't know how that works out on the phone, but I know if you're on a laptop or a desktop, you should be able to comment there. If you are struggling with housing to seek and get vouchers, deal with Section 8, below income housing, and all that I've suggested. I put up a few links in the description as well as in the body of this video. I do consulting work, have done so for close to 21 years now. Made videos around 300 or more on YouTube over the past 7 to 10 years. And so I've had a long standing reputation across all 50 states. There's pretty clear. All right, so I'm going to do some greetings for those of you that are chatting with me. It looks like we got a lot of the normal regulars here, kind of like having that old series Cheers where everybody has their own bar stool. So, Shelby Silverstein, I think it's been a minute since I've seen you here. Mr. is becoming a more common personality in our chat. So, good morning and happy holidays. Jasmine Victoria is also a regular of ours, and we enjoy having her. So, today's video will not be sponsored by any of my cats. They're all doing their own thing in the back patio this morning, so they won't be visiting. I think that we do have one cat snoozing on the cat tower. All right, so let's go over some of the details about what we should expect for 2022. I know that other video was a little bit delirious. Nobody wants to hear that a virus could cause a lot of chaos with housing, so I wanted to get that video out yesterday. But today we're going to talk about some of the details. So let's get to work. I've made some notes because, it's hard to remember everything that I want to talk about. So over the 2 years, the pandemic has passed and the affordable housing crisis has gotten considerably more interesting. I'm not going to say worse. I'm going to say more interesting. We live in interesting times, don't we? Because the way we've operated as a country and the housing, whether or not you need low income housing or you're just a middle class soccer mom, doesn't matter. A lot of us have struggled with income, jobs, and so on. And I think it's important we have a realistic view of the market and what we should anticipate in the coming year, which is right around the corner. And so I want to say that we have one more commenter, Pooh Baby. So Pooh Baby wins the interesting YouTube name of the day. I always mention the interesting names. So, good morning, happy holidays. So, the U.S. now does face an actual shortage of around 6.8 million rental homes. And when I say rental homes, I mean affordable housing, low income housing, and so on. Since 2000, we watched this market get smaller and smaller. We reached at the height of the number of available places that people could get reasonably priced apartments and homes in the early 2000s. And the deceleration of this, the amount of properties and homes that a person could rent at an affordable rate has decreased dramatically. In fact, the number of homes that have been on the market across all 50 states have been reduced by nearly 75%. And now we're at a deficit of 6.8 million rental homes. I think that the pandemic played a strong factor in this. And I also believe that the inability of people, ordinary people that weren't in low income housing in the first place, not paying rent to the landlord did play a big factor in more landlords and small landlords exiting the market. And again, I want to repeat that that was not Section 8 or low income individuals. They weren't able to pay the rent. This, we're talking about standard, ordinary, working class people that were unable to afford their rent over the past 2 years. It's created a big issue. Um, so looks like we got another comment there from Kathy K. Good morning and welcome back. RH, good morning. Welcome back, Jam in Los Angeles. Van Nuys area was hoping that you might be able to help me get a Section 8 voucher for me and my daughter. I'm 55 years of age and disabled. Well, RH, that's what I've been doing the past 20 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a couple of links in this live chat for you, and we should probably have a conversation in the next couple of days whenever you get time. So for those of you that are interested in, booking me or you need help in the system, look, it's a complicated system. Let's make no mistake. There's lots of things. Look, anybody ever buy something, off the Amazon or from IKEA? Let's compare the housing market in Section 8 to the IKEA. So you buy a dresser and you spend 9 hair-raising hours trying to read all the crazy-ass directions to it, and you're still struggling to get this right. Look, I understand that. After 20 years of reading probably over 1 million pages of operations, data, procedure, and legislation and everything about housing, low-income housing, so on, it can be quite the thing to handle. And then you top that in states like California, where the housing market is just absolutely blazing hot. It's hard to navigate for anybody. So I get that. So here are the links there for RH. Also, I'm going to put up reviews. A lot of you guys are review hounds. Look, I'm not like Amazon. I don't pay for reviews or nothing like that. In fact, most of my reviews are pretty interesting because they're not your typical. You always know a good fake company because you always see those choreographed reviews where they're always 3 lines, perfect spelling and grammar. Well, I'm going to tell you, my Section 8 clients and low income clients write some of the most horrifying reviews with grammatical errors. And you know what? Make no mistake, I'm bad at spelling too. So I think it gives our reviews for our business a lot of character. So let's get back to what we were originally talking about. So we're talking about the low income and affordable housing. And I want to reiterate, this is not always just about vouchers and Section 8. This is about everybody. Look, I've got ordinary people that are working class that can't even afford apartments. Landlords have raised us up. This is an issue for a lot of people. Unless you're just a upper middle class family making over 100 grand, it's a struggle for everybody. Okay, not just the homeless and the old and the retired and people that are just in the system as a functionality. It's an issue for everybody these days, unless you live in a state where things are cheap. Last time I checked, people in New York were living in a broom closet. New Jersey, you get a broom closet and a washroom as an apartment, unless you're fortunate enough to have had that home for a long time. San Francisco, people they're renting SRO, single room occupancies, and they're paying $5,000 a month for that. It's absurd. Okay. So you might be 1 inch above a Section 8 voucher, but you're not doing much better. A lot of you guys are living in broom closets, seriously. So getting back to what I was saying. So I'm going to pull up these notes and we'll talk a little bit more. So the 6.8 million rental homes and affordable housing is the deficit that we're currently dealing with. And, a lot of incomes are below the 30% of the area median income. So what I'm saying is a lot of people are entering by virtue of their income into, what would be considered low income these days. One of the main challenges for 2021 was closing the gap between this increased demand of affordable residential options and the resources available for private developers to create and preserve safe, quality, affordable housing for the workforce, for the people out there working and for those that are retired. When you look into this as a larger perspective, just about every aspect of affordable housing has been impacted by the pandemic. So there's no mistaking that. No state, in my opinion, and most people that have an expert opinion in this arena would tell you that affordable housing supply for extreme low income renters or even average renters after the COVID-19 outbreak has been exacerbated immensely. There's a severe need for affordable housing across the country, and I don't think anybody can deny that. So I'm going to address a few comments real quick because I see you guys are springing away at the comments. I'm not picky. So RH comments, I'm not picky at all, as long as I can get Section 8 housing voucher. I don't care where I have to go. And that's a good attitude to have, RH. A lot of people are starting to realize that the cities they've grown up and lived by and have family in, they've started to realize at this point that it may no longer be an option. The market has literally been flooded by people that have been freshly minted as people that used to be middle class that have been zeroed out, and maybe they're low class, zero class, who knows, a lot of people have lost a lot. So a lot of people that are unaccustomed to asking for help are struggling with that mental concept. When you pay taxes, you're paying into the housing system, period. So you might as well just go on and use it the same way you receive a Social Security check when you get old. Look, a check's a check, a payment's a payment. That's why the system was designed, is when you need it. Whether you stay temporarily or a long time is up to you, and whether or not that it's proper to do so. But anyways, let me take a sip of coffee and we'll move on to a few more comments. Nicole Cochran, Florida's ridiculous. Man, let me tell you, Nicole. So Nicole commented that Florida's ridiculous. Florida was ridiculous a year ago. What you're seeing playing out in California, I know that a lot of you look at this with a political motivation about Democrats and Republicans. I don't give a shit about any of that. I am zero politics. But what you see playing out in California, housing crunch, blazing fire, can't find anything, and then it's just absurd. You're now watching Florida go through it. This is the consequence of decades and decades of older people moving there along with the young. And now what California went through is now what Florida's going through. And in about 10 years, it's going to be another impossible state that will face the same exact replicating issues that California had. And then who's up next on that hot list is going to be the state of Texas, which I live in. This has been a comfortable place to live, low rents, easy jobs, and so on. But eventually, just like every bag of dominoes, it will fall, because anytime something's too good, too many people go there, and then eventually the market becomes overstrained. And so, as I said, California's going through it. Next up is Florida, and then probably the next decade after that will be the state of Texas. We're reaching a point where everybody's becoming a metropolitan person and moving to the big cities and big states. And eventually what's good turns out to be terrible. And then you end up exiting. RH says, you're a godsend. Thank you very much. Well, we'll see what God says when I take my last breath. Let's just say I'm trying to do my best, brother. One thing I want to talk about is, our gig economy and the people out there that deal in the arena of bringing food, to a lot of us. The pandemic, Uber, and all the other ride share services and all the other delivery services, they were a critical service to it, but yet they're underpaid. And a lot of it has been under great strain. And a lot of those young and older individuals, so you have retired and you have young individuals doing all that driving and delivering your packages and food and other things like Instacart, that gig economy was devastated. And so, sorry, that phone loves to ring, and so there's never a break from it. So I had to get rid of it. So what I want to say is, they've been devastated by this market, and so they weren't necessarily low-income people. They were subsidizing their income, and now they have been pushed to basically into this arena of being low income. And so I'm hoping that starts to solve itself, because we have a very large gig economy in America now. A lot of people are really, really trying to go out there making extra income. So move on to that. So, we also take a look at the project-based Section 8 residents face a lot of difficulties. And so they have throughout this pandemic, and we discussed what happened with federal funding issued under the Trump administration. So that was a rough start with that, because not a lot of people understood how to roll out something on a gigantic scale. I don't think anybody could have handled that, no matter who you were, because it was just a difficult thing. And then, of course, Mr. Biden came into office. He got it. And, same thing. We rolled out all this federal funding, and only 6% of it ever actually reached and helped anybody on rent. And so, unfortunately, the consequence is a lot of landlords didn't want those payment from the government, and so thus they've exited. So they didn't want the rent. The renters get evicted, and then now all those properties that were designed in principle to be out there for low-income individuals are now exiting the market only to go to market rate. And I don't know if that's a great choice because we've already seen that the market rate people with jobs have lost a lot of their jobs. So I don't know what market's really that good to jump into, but we do know if you're a landlord and you're accepting payments from Section 8 and rental assistance that you probably take a lot less liabilities than you would being a market rate landlord at this point. In fact, 200 plus landlords that I do deal with, the ones that pretty much went unscathed throughout the pandemic, the 2 years, were landlords that accepted payments. So they're in a good position. They got 70% or more of their money for their rents without a problem. However, all the landlords that didn't want Section 8 tenants, about 70% of their building didn't pay rent, and a lot of them went bankrupt and ended up having to sell their properties for nickels and dimes. That's another reason why the market's overheated. A lot of landlords trusted that people could keep their jobs. They didn't, and they just quit paying rent. So I think it's an interesting flip on the market to see that, everybody presumes because of media that low income people will be the ones that would devastate the housing market. But the reality is it's the people that were out there working that actually devastated it and didn't pay much of anything. And in fact, they played a huge part in why landlords have lost a lot of properties. But I think it's an equal balance between the two. So, we're fighting a supply shortage of this for everybody. All of us will eventually reach a point where we're going to be retirement age. And when we reach retirement age, depending on whether or not we've saved enough money, then there's always the absolution of having to consider low income housing. There's not much choice in that. It doesn't mean that you're constructively accepting and looking for low income housing does not mean in any way mentally or any other way that you should be considered less than. It's really just a cool word for saying that it costs less housing. It doesn't mean that you're a voucher recipient. Low income housing in principle, along with affordable housing, are a little bit different than Section 8, but still funded the same way. So, we're just mincing words here, tomato, as to whether or not you're receiving the full benefit and privileges of as an American to utilize the system in order to give you a subsidy. Because I think that the news has done a terrible job of reflecting badly on those that no longer have a great income. People, like I said, do retire and don't have a lot to retire on, and they need the system. So, I think going back to this, and this is how I'm going to wrap it up. We really have to work on getting more affordable. So the issue is here. You say, oh well, why the hell would we? Why would I'm working class and I want to pay into that system? Well, here's the issue. If landlords, and I mean all landlords, continue the path that they're on with the way they're pricing these apartments, they're only catering to people that are high class, that have a lot of money. This will eventually become a problem for the entire middle class. And so while you think you're too good to be the lower class, here's a reality you need to consider in the next 15 to 20 years as a renter if you're middle class. You will eventually be the very person you despise so much. Those low income people that you've all been convinced that are leeching your system, well, you're fixing to enter that market because landlords at this point only want people with a considerable amount of money and they're pricing rents at an absurd rate. And who's that's going to affect? In principle, that means more of the middle class will pour into the subsidy market. And guess what? There is not housing to support that. So I think it's a cruel reality that we have to learn it this way and see it fall, the dominance fall that way. But that is the reality. So I'm going to go into comments. And that, like I said, I don't care if people agree with me or not. I've been in this business longer than most of you have had an opinion about it. And so I think that I know enough at this point talking with brokers, agents, real estate agents, investment groups with portfolios greater than 100 million. And so unless you have actually consulted on projects greater than 100 million, then you probably, your opinion of what you think of my video means very little to me. Your pocket changed and so is your opinion. So I don't worry about people that don't agree with me necessarily because I don't listen to invisible people, so I just want to make that as straightforward as I can. So moving back down, Josie Maria. Hello, Jay and everyone. Merry Christmas. Yes, we're hoping to have a Merry Christmas. We're hoping to have a happy holiday and we're hoping to meet family, friends, pets, loved ones, to make those connections we do every year, because that's what really, Christmas is really about. Look, Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus as he sits on the roof, and all that good jazz. So it's about that. And for those of you that practice religion, it's about something different, and then the inclusion of family. But there's a lot of folks out here that are old and that are alone. So if you know somebody, reach out to them, warm up for the holidays. Not everybody is going to even. There's a lot of people that have spent this Christmas at homeless shelters that formerly had a home that was wiped out by a tornado, per se, the Midwest that just happened. Put a lot of people out there with no home, wiped out everything they ever owned. They worked their entire life to retire and then have it all gone and be left standing on the sidewalk. So should we sit there and then categorize that group of homeless people as just nothing but trash that wants to suck on the system? You see why I have such a problem with the people that come into my channel and say, "Oh, these are just people. They're all just smoking crack and trash." Wrong. 99% of the people that I deal with are people that worked for the state, the county, that had long, successful careers, retired, and didn't have enough money. That's the political ignorance, and that's the kind of shit I deal with simply because of news that have persuaded the American public to believe everybody's just a piece of trash the minute they need help. It's that kind of thinking that gets everybody in trouble. The more amusing part is when it ends up being your own fucking family member that's sitting in that crack house, then you'll see how your opinions will change. I deal with trashy people that come roll up in my channel all the time. And let me tell you, I'll go toe to toe with you because I deal with a lot of people that don't deserve to be talked about that way and dealt with in that manner. Anyways, I'm gonna get off that subject because it's a hot button for me. Lakeisha Bridges, I have my papers for my appointment. So, by the way, we're going back to the live chat now that I've said what I had to say about the market. Lakeisha Bridges says, I have my papers for my appointment next year to get into low income housing. Congratulations. That is that's a great step towards stabilizing and getting where you need to get in to improve life. And I know that a lot of you guys are stepping in the market temporarily to utilize the system. And then as you move on to better jobs and better things, you'll exit, except for those that may be elderly and disabled that don't have any other choice in life. Because we certainly cannot have our disabled living on the sidewalk. We cannot have 90-year-old women when their husbands passed away living on the sidewalk and in homeless shelters. There's a whole reason as to why we have low income and affordable housing. So Joseph Maria says that's true. Nicole Cochran, I just glad I found your channel. The information has been invaluable. 2 days in, and my head is trying to process all the information, the videos. I've got a lot of videos, and what makes me a little bit more interesting about my videos, a lot of people like to dress up, put on lipstick and hair, and talk like a robot and give advice about shit they don't know about. There's lots of people that talk about Section 8 consulting. They'll tell you, hey, here's 3 fabulous steps to getting a voucher, as if you're the most ignorant fool in the world. Last week they'll have made a video and they're an expert at fidget spinners. And then the week after that, they'll be expert mechanics. And this week they'll jump into what I do and tell people that in 4 easy steps and just one, if you just run down to the CVS and get them a gift card, they'll be able to write a book and tell you exactly how to go out and become an expert consultant in Section 8. There's so many ignorant bastards on YouTube. It drives me wild. I call them out all the time. They don't know jack. Don't know a damn thing. I've even seen some of these. Have y'all read some of these Section 8 books? How to get, it's just filled with horseshit. I wouldn't wipe my ass with that. So I think that one of the things that makes me particular is I tend to be very upfront. There are some inclusion of profanities. I quite enjoy that because it speaks for the intensity of how I feel about things. If we always kept it clean, proper, and like we're in church, then I don't think that people would find what I have to say quite as believable. I think that it's good to express the true intensity of things, and it might insult people's intelligence. It may seem improper, but I'm a grown man. I make my choices how I like to talk in my videos, so I do that. This channel's not for everybody, nor is it supposed to be. Max Law, thank you. Joseph Maria, absolutely, Jay, you're awesome. I appreciate that. So I think, one of the main goals is trying to help people get the help they need. tried to teach people to fish rather than give them the fish. There's no three easy steps to this stuff. I wouldn't spend so much time reading, trying to navigate a system that's already, and I always say it's rigged because let me tell you something. Does anybody here know of anybody that's got into low income housing, affordable housing, or even got a voucher that was easy? Have you ever just hopped in your car, drove by the housing, and thought, excuse me, could you print me out a voucher real quick because I'm a senior? No. Instead, what we get is we call down there, we get some condescending woman or man on the phone that tells you a bunch of shit to make you feel like you're crazy. Then they try to say things that are absolutely a fantastic joke. Well, we thank you so much for your application. We'll give you a call in 2060. Knowing damn well it doesn't take that long to issue a voucher, but the in principle issue of what they're saying is works perfectly. If you tell somebody, oh, by the way, we appreciate you sitting there filling out our piece of toilet paper, and we'll call you in about 10 or 20 years, what does it get you to do? It does exactly what they intend on doing. It thins the herd of people that want this. So when you hear it, you say, fuck it, I give up. And then you hang up and you never address that place again. And that's exactly the goal they hope to achieve. The less they've got to work with those housing authorities, the less they've got to do, and the more that they convince you of all the delusional shit they'll tell you on the phone is just not the reality of how HUD, the housing authority, is set up and designed to work. I get clients all the day. Well, that housing authority told me that there's a 10-year wait, but yet I just got a client a voucher within 3 to 8 months. But you see, it's like I said, it's designed to do exactly what they want when they tell you that stuff. It's to discourage you from a whole lot of things. Just like the applications, the way they're designed, everything that you could possibly check as a preference on there, they'll ask those questions in such a preferential way that you'll think, oh, well, that could never be me. I'm not going to check that box. But when you didn't check it, it ended up costing you an extra 3 years of a wait. So designing questions in a clever way, convincing you verbally over a phone that this would just be a horrifying waste of your life. These are just many of the tactics that I've experienced. And so you say, well, what makes me qualified to even talk on that factor? Well, let's look at that. Over 10,000 clients. Let's look at the fact that I've dealt with all 50 states and I've dealt with hundreds of housing authorities. What does that equate to? It means that I've been lied to hundreds of ways. It means that the housing authorities around America no longer have a way. They cannot even create a new way to lie to me anymore. If I read their policies and procedures, it means I'm going through the same steps as the people that actually get employed there, which means that I understand it just as if I'm training for their job. That means that I understand what a housing specialist does. I understand where they get it. They get it from Nana McKay. They pay $97 for that little certificate at that bubblegum machine. Portability specialists. I've read all of their manuals. I've read it for hundreds of housing authorities. So at what point, how much do I really need to know in order to be able to operate within the system the same way the people that administer it? It isn't that difficult. Trust me. So, I mean, that goes to speaking of that. And I want to let's go back to Nana McKay. So, that's a great company. They write the housing authority manuals for roughly 70% of America. So here's an independent outside organization that pretty much writes all the policies and procedures. So what do you think happens when you've got the library? It means I'm able to operate at or above the same skill level at the people at the housing authority. So there's nothing left to the imagination. I don't need to believe what they tell me on the phone. I know exactly how they operate. I know in which ways they do it and to what degree, what rules can be bent and which ones can be broken. I've left nuts. So this is not 3 tips and tricks to a fidget spinner. I know exactly what the fuck is going on inside of housing authorities. I've got an army of housing authority employees, both current and former, that email me all the time. Some that are pissed off and hate their job. They give me everything, every single detail about every published piece of paperwork in the building. So how much do I really know? I know enough. All right. So that's just how much. Okay. So I'm not here to give tips and tricks. You want that kind of bullshit? Lots of channels for it. Today, I think we're just really wanting to talk about the low-income housing aspect, but sometimes I feel compelled to let you guys know it's like looking at this stuff for 20 years. Every year I've got to relearn it. Why? Because they change it all. When we elect a new president, look, he's going to put somebody new in that housing authority, And then they're going to change all those rules again. You know what that means? Time to reread everything again. Same thing I do every year, but it's more magnified when we get a new president because everything gets wiped. Now we look at the housing authority, we look at HUD, which controls them, and then we look at the administrations that govern our country, and then they keep changing it. So Section 8, low-income housing, affordable housing, is like 60, 80 years of operations, policies, and procedures being constantly changed. So it's this compacted blob of information that just keeps being built on. It's kind of like if we building extra rooms on a house and just keep going for over 100 years, it seems like. That's all that what we're trying to navigate. So how does that equate back down to you guys in this market? It's simple. You either have the best possible answers, the most preference as far as this, and understand how the system operates as a whole. And then remember that this is not a one operation fits all program. So it is administered as a procedure, and it is written and underwritten by Nana McKay, and then it is administered at the county level, and then they design and operate their policies contingent on the population that's in the city. So that means I quite literally have to figure it out 5,500 ways. How many counties are in the U.S.? That's how many ways I have to figure it out. What I do for one client in L.A. is going to be completely different than it would be in the city of New York. Let's give a good example. In inclusion of that New York having boroughs, each borough has like 20 or 30 different city state operations. So it's not just the housing authority. A lot of you guys are confusing your low income housing with operations that are funded by the state, the county, in addition to the feds or the housing authority. And then it gets wildly convoluted at that point because some of the systems I can't even get their manuals. So you see the point, it takes quite a bit to keep up with what I do. And I think a lot of you guys realize it. You think I'm just a talking head on YouTube. Look, I'm more like a reading head because I spend more time reading than I do talking. So, all right, let's go back, take a look at some of these comments. Going off on a wild rant right before Christmas. That's how we keep it genuine, right? Nicole Cochran, with the current economic shifts, has the Section 8 review approval process time increased? Yes. I think there has, because right now most housing authorities are manned and operated by what would be county employees. Those county's employees follow the guidelines as a county employee, and a lot of them are working from home. And then you look at COVID rules, masking rules. A lot of housing authorities in principle are closed, and people are working from their pajamas in their home on a laptop at half staff. You combine that with the factor that we just rolled out of Thanksgiving, we're going into Christmas and then New Year's, and then we're at the end of a federal budget end of the year. Yeah, they take in principle 4 or 5 times longer to do things than they did. And then you tack in the fact that we're also competing with a pandemic. And I've already expressed, I think that the Omicron or whatever the hell that is virus that's highly infectious, that's rolling through the U.S. right now, is going to further exasperate this housing market and could cause a big crunch for this country. And I'm only talking about housing. Don't make no mistake. I'm not talking about the rest of the economic issues in this country. I'm only talking housing. It's going to cause another related issue probably through the early part of 2022. Moving on down to, let's see, Nicole Cochran. Oh, send that one, Max Losses. Thank you. Sorry, I'm skipping around the comments. Sometimes I'm readdressing some of the same ones. Maria says you're awesome. Sonia Ballard, happy holidays. How are you? Merry Christmas. Hopefully Santa Claus come to visit you. Miss Marie says you keep it real. God, yes, I do. Man, don't we have enough people that do preaching and that all look here, look, if you can't handle the truth, they got lots of soft YouTube makers, man. Look, they'll do all kinds of lovely things, never use profanity. If that's your thing and you can't, if you're unable to hear the truth, then how the hell are you ever going to survive such a ridiculous system? That's the thing, if you can't handle adversity, adult language, and the housing system, if you ever talk to a housing authority employee when they talk to you like a $2 trick on the phone, and you guys, if you can't handle me and you're talking about getting a voucher, or you're dealing with a low-income property with a slumlord, how do you think you're going to manage that when they talk to you like you too? That's the thing. A lot of you guys I have to talk to and prepare because you're not prepared for this world. It's a different world. I think the people that have always been into low income, into this, they understand that. That's why we ever probably had a war that was actually in the country. That I think the greatest survivors of all of this would be people that have survived low income because they know how to survive anything. I think that's why they're the least affected through all of this. You see, people with jobs that have never had a lot of adversity in their life, they don't know how to handle things when it gets bad. But I know that my Section 8 clients and my low income clients, look, they can survive it. They actually excel in tough situations because they're used to it. So I have a great faith in people, my retirees that are broke, that are trying to get by. I have great faith in my clients that are disabled, that are on spectrum, that have autism, because they already know just how shitty life can be, and I know that they're great at adversity and surviving things. So I have great faith in them as well. Good morning, anyways. How's it going, brother? Merry Christmas to you. RH, well, I agree with you 100%. Everything you say is true. Well, I hope most of it's true. Why would I ever make 300 videos just to sit here and a lot of you guys? Because I tell you what, the nickels and dimes I get paid by YouTube to make these videos isn't worth a Waffle House burger. Okay, I'm certainly not going to get rich making videos off of here. And look, now if I was 13 and I was willing to throw gasoline in my hair, light it on fire, jump off of a second floor roof into a pool of Kool-Aid, I would have millions of views and then it would blow up and I would be on the Twitter snapper and the Facebook popper and all that stuff, and I would be making millions of dollars. But God knows that I try to help people, save them from out of the woods, under a bridge, in a homeless shelter. I can only get 20, 30,000 views. But anytime I'm willing to throw gasoline on myself and act like a childish little asshole, then I can get 50 million views and America will watch. I'll never understand that. Try to save America, it's rough, So no, they don't pay me that well. Like I said, I need to get matches in a gas can and act like a little shit, and then I will get paid. That's what YouTube likes. So I don't give a damn. I'll keep making my videos, and we'll keep carrying on until I can't do it no more. Because I just saw it last week. A kid just jumping off his bicycle off the roof. Now he'll get paid about $20,000 for that video. Me, I get a wooden nickel. But I keep on. After all these years, I just keep on. Oh well, thank you. I can go get a hot coffee with this. So it is what it is. By the way, if you got kids that are willing to jump off the roof, set yourself on fire, YouTube will pay them very well. And you can be on the Twitter feed and blow up and snap and go viral. The day I go viral for a Section 8 voucher, oh, God help us all. I'll let y'all know. I'm going to post about that. Hey, we went viral. Vouchers for everybody, right? That'll be a political hammering. All right, so moving on. I'm sorry, guys. I had to go on a tear because a lot of you guys think I'm just getting dirty rich with this. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not getting rich. Y'all like to see me on pay, y'all would cry. Y'all would absolutely. If I retired and when I got on YouTube, I would definitely need a voucher. All right. So, Ms. Maria says that's true. Anyways, very happy, inspired by your recent home purchase. Y'all want to talk about that real quick? Because y'all know a big part of my channel is talking about those damn cats I've got. Again, a reminder, I got an email a couple of days ago from a delusional person, said my cats can be fake, but I was running a fundraiser on YouTube. Like I need a fundraiser, right? But I was running a scam fundraiser for cats that don't exist. I make some really good paper mache cats. I told her, I told her, I said, look, maybe it's time to go find that bottle, psychiatric pills, and that you get a valuation. It's time to check in to that special place because I can't deal with nuts right now. I understand we were struggling with mental health and paranoia, but maybe it's time to give that therapist a call. Can't have that drama in my channel right now. Yeah, told me the cats are fake. Damn, the paper mache cats are walking around my house. So yeah, that took me back. Yep. It's always an interesting day. So, anyways, about the house. So, you guys know that part of our channel for August is going to be about me building that house. I bought property in the Ozarks, which is northern Arkansas, but the Ozarks go into Missouri and part of Oklahoma as well. Bought a chunk of trees and land and going out there. I've got a light pole now. This is unincorporated property. It is homestead. There will be no water. I got to drill for my own water. No, there's internet, but it has to be satellite. The road, dirt road, and so on. And so I had decided not to buy the RV to live out there because I was worried about sewage and all that. I would install sewage, that's septic. So I bought a house. I posted on the page. If you want to see the little shack that I bought down the road, it's actually not. It's a shack. I call it a shack because I don't know the condition of it. So it's on a quarter acre. It's a house. It's 1,700 square feet. It's a 1950s house. I have no idea what it looks like on the inside. You know, this thing could be it could be anything. And I'm pretty sure we've all seen this from the old days. You ever been over to Momo's house and you go in the bathroom and the toilet is mint green, the tiles, you go in the kitchen and then your stove is olive green, that cool, what we thought were cool colors in the 50s and 60s and 70s when all your flooring is Pepto Bismol pink. I don't know what the hell people were thinking in those days, but yeah. So that's what I'm going to show you a video of. So I'm going to renovate probably a little part section. I have no interest in renovating a 1,700 square 50s home, just enough for me and the cats to kind of survive and put a space heater. And then we're going to work on the property I bought in the Ozarks. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride because I don't know if people have been using drugs in my house I bought or not. I can see the screens off one window. So I'm hoping there won't be any meth smoke or crack smoke in there and all that. So I'm going down there. We're going to check it out. I'm going to show you a lot, okay? In case I get another person, my channel says my house is fake too. So I'll be sure to snap a photo of me out there. And I'm going to work on it a little bit. And then we're going to go out there to the property, start building a pier and beam system to build out the flooring and all for the property. And then putting some of the services out there. Now, the purpose of this is for my own enrichment. I don't want to swing a hammer 18 hours a day, and it might take me several years to build this house. And when it comes to air conditioning and electricity, I might have to pull in a few contractors and work with them, but most of it will be done by myself. But this is intended to do it at my own pleasure. I'm not going out there with you got to have it done in 3 months. I got to swing the hammer 22 hours a day, none of that. And I'm going to be recording it. You'll see the adventure as we go. You'll see me in that shack I bought, and I'm calling it a shack until I'm convinced otherwise because I don't know what the inside of that house is going to look like. I'm a little bit scared. I was losing sleep last night. I'm like, I just bought this damn thing on a quarter acre, and I don't even know if there's a floor inside, if the house is collapsed or whatever. So we'll find out, won't we? I'm that kind of crazy. So, when you reach your mid-40s and you're going into your 50s, you have that crisis. Mine is to see how much crazy shit I can deal with in the state of Arkansas. Between buying land, then buying a house with land. And so we're going to have lots of fun out there. And it'll either be tears or glory. It is what it is, folks. But the hope is, I hope that it inspires some of you because I'm going to put my own sweat equity into it. And I want y'all to see that you're able to purchase inexpensive properties. Here's an example. That quarter acre with a 1,700 foot square house, okay? I don't know the condition. I know this. In November, the guy I bought it from, he wanted an auction for $1,100. I had to pay roughly 8 to 9 times more to buy it from him. That's under $10K. You guys pay more in rent for a broom closet in New York than what I just paid for, whether the house is burned down or not, more than what I paid for all of that. And so the point is, I think that a lot of you could exit the low-income housing market. So what if you buy a little shitty house, spend a little time, fix it up? You own it. You're not going to owe rent to anybody ever again. I don't give a damn if you're receiving $900 in Social Security. You allocate $100 or $200 every month, paint it up. If you got to put in one wall at a time and fix things, that's it. You own it. You're no longer subject to the policies and procedures of the United States Government Housing Authority. So I'd like to see some of you that are willing and able to exit by watching by virtue of me do this. And just to be clear, I'm not hiring a bunch of expensive contractors. This will only be as it's absolutely necessary. I don't know how to float sheetrock, but I sure as shit gonna learn. Okay, we'll learn. And maybe I've Douglas walls ever. Oh well, they're my walls. I own them. No maintenance man's gonna come in and say, "Hey, we don't appreciate you doing work in our apartment." No, I own it, baby. I'll do what I want. So that's the point. I hope that it inspires some of you. Now, certainly you could win houses at auction that are much better than what I did, but I wasn't looking to spend a lot. When I fix it up and I move, we do go out to the Arkansas, to the Ozarks. I'll probably put it on the market so people can rent it or give it to my mother. Who knows? She hasn't been good lately. Mom's not been very helpful. She left us, and we miss her. All right, take a look at these comments because now I'm just ranting about crazy things. Jasmine Victoria says, I'm looking forward to it. What happened to the RV? Well, I looked at RVs, man. You can spend 15 grand for an RV, and then I'd end up only using 8 or 9 months. And then I got to do what? Sell it? So that's why I'm just going to deal with that house down the road. So I'll drive back and forth to 2 hours, I guess, every day. Anyways, hey, Jay, what about the USDA grants and subsidiaries for your place? Biden's offering that. But the thing about it is I'm not low income. So I don't know that I would get that. Ooh, excuse me. Too much coffee. I don't know that I would get any incentives or anything like that, to be frank with you. I probably could. I have to look into it. But here's the deal, guys. I'm not financing the house. That's when you finance a house. I'm buying this. I bought it outright. I own the house from day one. I own it now. I'm worried about me not mowing the grass out there already. Thank God it's winter. So I already own both pieces of land. I own the land with the house on it as well. And the thing is, I don't owe anything. That's it. My tax, my property tax for the Ozark Forest I bought is $7.17. I got that. Should have the deed here any day now. And then the deed for the home and quarter acre that I bought, the shack, 1,700 square foot shack from the 50s with probably mint green, mint green floor tiles or whatever. Don't know about that, but I know my property taxes for that's like $400. That's the county's web saying, hey, we want rent. Divide 400 by 12 months. That's my rent bill. All right. But much better when you own something. And so you don't need to spend 150,000, 200,000, 300,000 per home. You could move down to Texas or Arkansas, get these babies at auction, fix them up. It's a pig. Put some lipstick on her. You know what I'm saying? Fix it up little by little as you can afford to, and you own it. You're no longer low income if you're not spending all your money towards rent. You're spending your money to fix up your home, So that's the project. Y'all get to see it live. And I get to leave this little 4-bedroom house here in Texas and do that. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. Like I said, it's either going to be tears and glory. I think it's going to be a mixture. The cats will enjoy it, and I expect them to absolutely eat all the spiders because if one flipping spider pops in my hair, I'm going to spray every known chemical in that house because I can't handle that. If I got spiders, look, you can throw a snake on me, but if I get in there and there's a banana spider jumps in my hair or something, man, it's going to be bad. I might end up burning the whole house down. I can't deal with that. I got an aversion to spiders. I don't care if they're teeny weeny. Daddy long legs, I can do him, but if we got spiders and recluses and other things popping out in and out that shack, gonna have to look. I'm big about trying to keep natural, but look, naturally the spiders got to go. They're getting an eviction. I can't do that. Now, well, black widow pops in my hair or something, there's a good chance I'm gonna throw a gas bomb in there or something. Light it up. I can't do it. I had a bad deal when I was a kid, and nothing like running into an open field between two bushes, big spider web, and it saran wraps a spider on your face. That happened to me as a kid. I've been ruined ever since then. There's no convincing me. If you have a emotional support pet that's a spider, I can't help you. I'm telling you, I am completely screwed on that deal. I'm mentally damaged. So, yes, I have psychiatric spider problems, and nobody's going to fix that. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Jasmine Victoria goes, what happened about the RV? So I think I went over that one. It would be awesome to see. I'm looking forward to it, Miss Marie. Anyways, hey, Jay, I just wanted the USD. Okay, so I already went over that one. Marie says it's going to be glory. Yes, I hope so. I hope so. And I'm going to take a trip up there in a couple of months, and I'll show y'all the shanty that I bought. I don't know if it's a shanty. Y'all can look at it on the community page. Pamela Foster, I think it's awesome to eyesight the house structure. They offered a great price, so it's important. You don't really want to aggravate agents and brokers when you're buying a house under 10K that's 17. Look, even if the house ain't there, the price I paid for that is magnificent. So I'm not even going to burn my gas to figure out whether or not it was a bad investment. But yeah, we're going to take a look. If y'all want to go, I tell you what, I'm going to put the address up, and y'all can take a look on Google Maps if you want. Please do not come out there and rob my pink tiles out of there. Don't steal the toilets. Hold on a minute, guys. I'm going to pull up the address here and give it to you. Y'all can Google map it and take a look. See, y'all can let me know what you think. I'm going to put it in the live comments. Signed the paperwork today, so I'm the official owner. All right, so there it is. So now you got it. So that's going to be the temporary house while I go out to the Ozarks. Y'all let me know what you think. I've zoomed in on a lot, and we'll see what happens. Moving back to comments. Dave Carr, Jay, you missed my question. I'll post it again. I currently have a home and I'm renting in RI, Rhode Island. Due to disability, the weather kills me. I bet it does. It's cold as hell up there when it gets cold, isn't it? My doc says I need to move. Do I apply for HUD in my current state, or do I apply in the state that I plan to move to? You didn't hear this from me, Dave, but I'd be applying everywhere, because right now, any offer of a voucher, we can port it to the next state, whether you're in the state or not. So I would start applying everywhere. If you don't really know and understand the system well, Dave, you'd be a wise man to get somebody that knows a lot about it. I'm not suggesting you need to hire me, friend, but let me tell you, there's a lot to risk and gamble these days. It's no joke. We got a housing shortage, high rents, and it can be a complicated deal. And the housing authority is definitely never in a position to want to teach you anything else. Let me tell you, if you're looking to get anything out of those guys, good luck. So that'd be my advice there, Dave Carr. Marie, I don't blame you. Sonia Ballard comment was retracted by YouTube. Again, my hands are not on mouses. If you suffer from schizophrenia or delusions and things like that, I am not actively blocking anybody. I realize we have some clients that sometimes believe that I'm doing that. I'm not, okay? If your comment was retracted and show up, YouTube has its own algorithm and does it on its own. So I just want to help those of you that are suffering through that moment of paranoia. I'm not doing it to you, okay? I'm not suggesting that Sonia Ballard has any mental issues. I'm just saying as a whole, no, I'm not blocking comments. Nicole, 0 works best for a non-rent. 0 is always a beautiful number. Hey, when you got that deed in your hand and you go out there, yeah. But, with owning a home, there's always responsibilities. So the tax man can show up on my lot. Well, Mr. That we appreciate you buying our lovely house out here in this county. Now we'd like to go ahead and issue 97 violations. You'll need to start mowing the grass. We don't appreciate how shitty the house looks, so you'll need to start painting that. And we're going to need you to start making. Otherwise, we're going to start writing tickets out here. It might look a little bit red and orange on your door, but those are just notices. So I don't know. Hopefully, they're not going to get on my ass when I get out there to have to do a bunch. But we'll find out. Marie, I like that with the bees. Nicole Cochran, you're being bad, girl. You're putting spiders in my chat in the chat, man. Y'all know how I feel about them spiders. Y'all love to work me out about that. So. God, Mister, you're doing it too. I see you adding spiders. I'm telling you, man. Y'all want to see me flip out and act mental? Get in that house, and we got cobwebs everywhere. It's not the cobwebs. But if they got spiders and tree spiders and dinner plate size spiders in there, I'm gonna have to call the spray man to get out there, because I can't do it. Me and the cats can't go. I'm gonna send the cats in first, because I want them to eat the spiders. I repeat, cannot. If I see a big one in there, we have to call the bug man. Can't do it. We have to spray everything. Nicole Cochran, an audit client, had a wolf spider. Oh, I've seen pictures of a wolf spider. Those are not fun. Could you even imagine that thing? it's not one eyeball looking. It's not just eyeballing you once. It's got 10 or 20 eyeballs all into one. I just can't do that, man. Jesus. All right. So Lindsay Kozman, I live in Chicago, and they say Section 8 is full. Well, let me tell you something, son. Section 8 and the Housing Authority, they said that in 1981, 82, 83, 84, 85. In fact, they managed to say that every year. In fact, every housing authority in America has always been full. That's the first thing they're taught to say. We're full. Now, I have to ask you, Ms. Val, do you honestly believe that? The next thing they're going to tell you when they figure out you no longer believe in Santa Claus is they're going to tell you that the waiting list is now 95 years, and we'll see how long it takes you to figure out there's no Easter Bunny. I meant that only as a joke. I'm not harassing you, okay? That's what they're trying to tell people. Because what does it do? If you believe it, then you'll no longer call them and bother them. So the housing authority really, look, a lot of you guys that still believe in Santa Claus and the bunny and Easter Bunny, and that's the thing. These people are crazy at the housing authority. They will tell you whatever it takes to get rid of you. And a lot of you guys lap that shit up. And I spend so much time trying not to get you not to believe that. Every housing authority in principle keeps 15% in reserve of all voucher, which means even on a closed waiting list for 10 years, they're still issuing vouchers. They're just not they're not publishing it on the front door to let you know that they're doing special use vouchers. When they have serious cases of domestic violence, the district attorney can refer that. Mental health can refer it. So while the waiting list is closed for everybody, if you get a referral, you can get a voucher even on a dead closed waiting list. There's lots of things you guys don't know. And you'll learn more as you watch more of my videos. You go, oh, wow, that is so shitty. I can't believe that I didn't know that. Well, thing is, guys, I wish I could teach you all every trick in the book. I think I have in these videos, but there's a whole lot you don't know. And when you don't know, always just say, man, just ask. But no, don't fall for that game in Chicago. Matter of fact, I've got clients in Chicago right now that are getting vouchers. In fact, I've got one lady, she's fixing to get a voucher. I tell you what, it's a day is long if I don't publish that on the community page, signed and done, City of Chicago, then I will absolutely take this whole computer in its database. I will drop it in the toilet, delete my YouTube channel, and then I will post that I'm an absolute fucking fraud all over Google. Shut it all down. I will bet money this woman gets that voucher in the city of Chicago. Okay. I'm that confident. All right. So moving on. Miss Marie J, you should Google what gets rid of the spot. I've already been Googling. I tell you what, I'm just about wore out the Google on that because that's the first. Here's the deal. I'm wanting to move out into a forest, right? Then I go and buy an old house from the 50s, and I don't want spiders. So maybe I need my own psychiatric consulting to be evaluated because I already know this damn things are going to be out there. But hopefully winter will make them go sleep. But yeah, I'm going to have to hermetically seal the house. I can't have that. Spiders are always welcome, just not on my property. They can eat all the bugs and stuff they want. I don't want them in my home. Oh. So that's what it is. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Sonia Beller, I was pulled from the waiting list in Chicago, but I would like my voucher in a different county here in Chicago. Well, Chicago and the state of Illinois is not a particular problem for me. Unlike a lot of cities, Chicago and Houston, the market is still very much represented very good. There's lots of opportunity out there. And we look around. The thing is, in order to get it in the city of Chicago, you have to have a lot of preferences and different things going on. If you don't have a high amount or preferences, then we may have to consider other places as you're suggesting. So, anyways, Gail Resources, hi all. Good morning, Gail. So, kudos to Gail. Gail's been a long-time member of mine. She hangs out here. She's one of my number one barstool cheers ladies. She's a good lady. She works in the same field as I do. She's very helpful. Sonia Ballard, I'm fully sane. Well, I know that, Miss Ballard. I absolutely know that. Y'all got to learn the difference when I'm joking and when I'm not joking with y'all. Okay, don't take shit too personal with me. So, RH, can you use a voucher to purchase a home with also you cut? Well, RH, you cut off a little bit there, friend. If the housing authority is participating in the HUD housing program that would allow you to utilize your voucher payment to pay against your mortgage? Yes. Um, we have to check and see which housing authorities offer it, what their particular rules are, if we can find a participating lender, if we can find a broker or an agent to work with you, and if you actually need consulting or not. You should be aware just because you're able to do so does not mean specifically that you will be able to utilize that damn phone. I swear to God. Yeah, I hear it going off. Have any of y'all figured out how to turn off the speaking part of the phone? What it does is it announces every freaking call, and I cannot find the setting, and it's driving me bananas, driving me wild. Anybody knows about that, please email me. I'll pay you if I can just stop that phone from doing that absurdity. All right, so I know y'all can't hear it, but I can. Uh, God, it's so crazy. I have to turn the phone off because people have my number all around America, so you know they call it every hour of the day. And the phone's ability to announce them calling all the time is driving me wild. Anyways, so I'm moving on. Sonia Bell says you're a great Jay. I appreciate that. Well, you're awesome too, Sonia. So I'm telling Santa Claus to bring you an extra gift this year. Okay. BX Trucker, you're how are you doing, Jay? How and where can I get resources on how to set up a property to receive a housing voucher? Well, so I'm going to call you Trucker for now. If that's okay. First thing you want to do is you want to contact your housing authority and you want to get a packet. So it's a landlord's packet. In that packet should be the HAP contract, rules, procedures, and policies for landlords. And then really all you need to do is just make sure that you're going to be able to meet what they call HQS, which is a housing quality inspection. And if you meet that HQS, then you're able to get direct deposit from the housing authority. Every housing authority does it differently. So my advice, I don't even know where you are. So my advice will change dramatically depending on the city and state that you're in. My advice with that is to see how far you can get on your own. Okay, I'm not suggesting that I don't want to answer your question. I'm just saying see how far you can get on your own. If you're still you're struggling with how to do that the best way possible, then I would suggest trying to consult with a person like myself. It doesn't have to be me. Just so you can make the process as seamless as possible. Why? Why would you want to do that as a landlord? Because you want to negotiate incentives. Some cities could offer you up to $5,000 or $10,000 just to have a person sign up and lease from you. And so there's a lot of things that you probably don't know or understand about the system, and that's why you would probably it'd be worth your time to consult with somebody that understands the system as a whole. As an example, I deal with over 200 landlords. Some of them have portfolios that far exceed 40 million. Okay. With a portfolio of around 10,000 units. So I know very much. I've negotiated with the entire cities in state of California and Florida to get landlords a lot of reparations in order just to accept vouchers. So it's worth your time. Moving on. Oh, you're in New York, boy. That's the biggest of the biggest out there in New York. Which borough or county are you in, Trucker? That company says settings, accessibility. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot that. Somebody gave me the answer how to remove that phone from doing that talking, so I'm gonna snippet that. All right, so that company, thank you for helping me resolve that problem. By the way, guys, as I'm building out there in those properties out in Arkansas for the Ozark Forest and the home and all, those of you that have experience with electrical, sheetrock, paint, framing, HVAC, all the different elements that go into housing, you, your family, your friends, so on. I'll be leaning on you guys to give me sound advice. Please do not equate that to you quickly going on and doing a Google search for some ignorant ass answer, okay? If you're not fully qualified, please don't give out bullshit advice to me, okay? So when we get to that part, that segment this August, when I move out there, if you really are connected to someone with the contract and you truly believe what you're saying and you're just not trying to be cool and Google it real quick, I'm willing to accept the advice. So I just want to say that. Moving back, Trucker, thank you for the promo. Oh, the Bronx. Okay. Man, I got more clients in the Bronx than there is a day is long. Matter of fact, probably over 40% of my clients are from the New York area. A lot are Manhattan, Bronx, and Queens. So New York is definitely my biggest client, second to California, LA, and Orange. Moving on, Adonis Perez. On the waiting list for Section 8 in New York, informed of a waiting list place of 2,500. They're down. They're downloading letters now. How long do you think you? Well, Mr. Perez, you didn't even tell me what state or county, so I don't know. That'd be like me telling you the weathercast. You know, the weatherman lies about the weather all the time. He's no different than the woman that does crystal ball readings. So right now, Mr. Perez, I got to have a hell of a lot more information to tell you that, and I would need to know a lot more about your case, because how you fill out your application and the things that are preferences for you are going to strongly determine how quickly they're going to consider you. 2,500 could be a great number in a town of 4,000. It could be a terrible number in a city of 2 million. So there's a whole lot, Mr. Perez, I don't know about what you're asking. Maria, open settings to scroll down and tap phone. Okay, I'm going to screenshot that as well. I'm going to do that when I get over here, guys, because y'all know I was telling you about the phone, and it constantly having to announce people. Apparently, at some point, I clicked the wrong button, and now it's driving me wild. Mr. Perez says, New York, homeless shelter now due to DB. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. or Mrs. Perez. So I made the mistake. I don't even know if it's a Mr. or Mrs. Perez, but I'm sorry to hear about domestic violence. So I want to recognize Joy Rodriguez became a VIP of our channel. So let me make that announcement real quick. For those of you that have seen me and my live cats, not the paper mache ones that I make to fool all of y'all, and that's just a private joke about a person who emailed me, said that all my cats were fake. Yeah, I was running a scam fundraiser. So if you don't believe that my paper mache cats are all fake, I use my membership funds for the cats that I rescue. These are cats that have been abandoned, abused, and neglected, okay? And so I restore them to former glory. Matter of fact, a lot of y'all remember the story of Snow Bear. That's my white cat. Was in horrifying condition when I received him. When I say you could feel his spinal cord on top, all of his ribs, and he was terribly abused. Somebody literally took it out on him. It's taken over a year. Now he's a fat cat. He's been restored, and he allows me to get within 1 or 2 feet of him. It goes to the humanity of the situation, because I don't just rescue people from homeless shelters under a bridge to get them housing. I also rescue cats. That's my passion, and I use the money that when you sign up for a membership of this channel, that's that fake fundraiser that person was saying that I was doing. I use our memberships as to pay for that. And so I have 20 or 30 people that are members. You get a cool badge, okay? I talk special about you. I post your name up in our community page, and then I use that to buy treats and other things for the cats. And when you have a lot of cats, it costs me about $100 a month. And yes, I pay for my own vet bills and all that. I don't ever solicit you guys for that, but I'm just letting you know, if you purchase a membership, it'll go for the care and benefit of my cats. So it's membership, not a fundraiser. Okay. Moving on. Tammy Court Lane, how are you doing? Happy holidays. Mr. Perez, I see a few of your comments have been retracted. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't blank them out. YouTube's algorithm does occasionally do that. You probably said a word that the algorithm believes is a bad word or something like that. Guys, if your comments get blocked, it is not me. Please. I don't want any more emails about, oh my God, I'm so paranoid you're blocking me. And all right, so yeah, just send me an email if you're still struggling with the block comment stuff. Tommy Court Lane, hey, hi Jay. I watched many of your videos recently. I wanted to watch a few again, but I didn't see them. Did you take some off? Here's the crazy thing about YouTube. Okay, after doing this 8+ years, okay, somewhere between 8 and 10 years, every 2 years, Google will purge your videos. So what I mean by purge is any videos that didn't do so well at the time, I make 2 or 3 every week. So I have hundreds of these things. So back in October, Google purged over 100 of my videos. I'll watch a big dip in those wooden nickels I was earning. And what it was, it took videos that had like 20, 40 views, and it just eliminates it. Look, guys, 600,000 videos are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Google had to find a way to free up its server space. So every 2 years, it'll purge me. That's why some people are like, oh, well, you don't really have 300 videos. Yeah, look, I've had over 400 I've made, but Google will purge huge, massive chunks every 2 years. And then it only keeps the ones that makes YouTube money. So that's why some of you guys bookmark videos, they vanish every 2 years. So that means every year I get evaluated, it'll purge a whole chunk of them that just performed badly. Y'all didn't like them, y'all didn't like my attitude, and y'all didn't want to watch. And they just get rid of it. It's not me. YouTube purges them. Otherwise, my channel will have close somewhere in the market of 400 videos. So I hope that answers that question, Tammy. So just my thing is bookmark the channel, not the video. Eric Yetto. I'm going to say Eric because I'm not quite sure the last name. Hey, Jay, thank you for the amazing content and continually putting it out. I'm neurotic like that. I like making videos every week. I actually just enjoy talking to y'all or talking at you and communicating with you. You know, my first couple of years of making videos on YouTube, I did quiet videos where I talked to a screen and nobody's there. It took a while to get used to that. Then I realized that I could do them live and then I could talk all the chaos I wanted to and y'all could respond back. The great part about that is if you have a YouTube channel and you're lying to everybody and you're scamming everybody, people can jump in your YouTube live channel and call your ass out. That's why I favor it because it levels reality. So what we see is we don't see a bunch of angry people coming to my channel. I've been scammed by this guy. He's offering a trashy service. It's wordless. Hey, the live video tells the truth. My hands are free. I'm not blocking anybody. So that's the nice part about what I do. We get to communicate and it's fun that way. I enjoy it. And I don't have to choreograph it. We don't have to do hair and lipstick. I just hop on any which way I want and we can talk and help you guys with the issues that are important to you, which is usually your housing. So Eric says, hey, Jay, thank you for the amazing content. But I'm learning a lot. Hope to have my property filled shortly. Eric, I hope all the best for you. Almost all my smaller landlords and my big ones go on to own many more properties. Hopefully, you've dispelled the rumors that everybody tears up properties. It's not true. Only a small fraction of the clients that you could potentially get would ever damage your property. Most people fight so hard to get in the system, to get a voucher, to get a home, that the last thing in their mind is, oh, well, I just waited a decade to get a voucher. I'm going to move into this guy's apartment, and then I'm going to burn it down and tear and damage everything, and then I'm going to get thrown out the system and banned for life. That's why the news has done a terrible job of just putting out straight up racist, biased information that everybody in Section 8 is just a beast that's just going to tear your home up. So, Eric, don't buy into the bullshit. Look, I've got landlords with 200, 300, 500 properties. Less than 0.5% ever even do enough damage other than wear and tear to ever be a problem. So don't ever be fooled by what you watch on the news. It's just they hype it up. They hype it up in one case. And usually all the cases I've seen in the news, it's where a landlord becomes desperate and he goes and leases to a person a voucher that has jumped landlord to landlord, tearing shit up. Okay. So these cases that's the reason I'm saying this is because I know landlords watch my videos too. I'm telling you, it almost virtually never happens. And so I would say that don't let that affect your judgment with this. Sonia Ballard, don't abuse animals. Well, Sonia, yeah, you're right. I agree with you in whole and principle. Don't do that. Don't do it to the elderly. Don't abuse elderly. Don't abuse women. Don't abuse the old. Don't abuse children. And don't abuse animals. In fact, one of my number one policies when I deal with landlords that hire me to consult on their projects is if they ask me to do the review applications to put people into the property, which is primarily what I'm hired to do, I will not accept anybody. I'll take people that have robbed the bank. But what I will not take is if I see that their criminal history includes beating women, beating elderly, beating their children, and beating their animals and pets. If I find that in their criminal history, I'll invite them off the property and tell them to get fucking lost. And I've told landlords, if you accept this kind of people in your property, Don't call me back. We're done. The contract's been terminated. Abuse of anything, I won't accept it. Now, there is one situation that I do give extra attention to, and that's when it's between men and women, because not every situation is actually real. Okay, so domestic violence is very much real, but I realize that a lot of times that cases where abuse is involved between men and women, a lot of those cases are very much real. About 3% of them, it was not. And so I do give extra consideration of evidence in that case because sometimes false claims get lodged, but all the other ones I don't negotiate with. So Adonis Perez, New York County population is 1,395,000. Yep. You know, New York's interesting in the fact that they have a lot of million populations. I mean, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan. It's no joke. New York is a lot of people, and a lot of people from a lot of different places, and it makes it interesting. But I think New York has reached the height of too much, just like California. Bad company. Hey, Cyber, I have this going on with one of my clients. Subsidized housing, complete crack cesspool. What can I do about it? First thing you want to do is you want to serve a 3-day notice to vacate. Then you want to make an immediate move to file for an emergency eviction. And then do not attempt to turn off the utilities, water, and any of that. You'll violate city code. Look, guys, if you're going to be a landlord and you're going to rent to clients, you're going to have the chance of having a bad tenant. Always take your deposit, not as a repair, but so you can be able to file an immediate eviction. I always tell people when they lease properties, my landlord, the reason we're asking for this is that way what you're paying for is your own eviction. I call it an eviction deposit. You decide that you're going to quit paying and you want to tear things up, then I would like you to cut a check today before you rent this unit. And this is to pay for the sheriff's department and the judge. And so when you cut me that check, that's what we call an eviction deposit. That way you could pay to throw your own ass out. Much more painful. Second move is I make sure to call the housing authority because what I like to do is make sure that I get them banned from ever utilizing housing in the Section 8 system ever again across all 50 states. That way their option is when they tear up your home, the new option is you get a rubber mat at a homeless shelter and a free pair of socks. And I'm completely written. Number 3, file immediately to go ahead and make that amount of record. That way, the person decide to be an asshole, I'll devastate your credit and completely destroy that for 7 years. So file to make sure the bill goes on there. That way you wreck their ass. That way they get an attitude adjustment, a lifetime of misery, and they'll remember. It's just like taking your little fingers and sticking it on a hot stove. I'm going to teach your ass never to do it again. And then you'll call me back one day. And when you call me back, you better be apologizing. I might remove some of that. I don't have time for people to destroy. And see, that's the problem. If we're going to have tenants do stuff like that, then they need to be delivered the most powerful message. I'm moving to a state of Arkansas. So if I own our properties out there, it's a criminal offense out there to not pay rent. Arkansas is crazy like that. You ever heard of such a thing? You don't pay rent out there, you actually get hauled before a judge and you get thrown in jail. It's the only state that does that. You don't pay rent in Arkansas, you're a done duck. There won't be an eviction. I'll call 911 and then you can get 3 hots and a cot and then you'll get county housing in the county jail. Yeah, I don't know. It's wild out there. It seems like that's pretty grievous to do that, but it is what it is. Anyways, moving on, Miss Maria. If you select always the feature, always enable select headphones. I appreciate you guys all helping me with the phone thing. I'm going to be addressing that soon. Well, guys, I think we're at an hour and 18 minutes. I've been ranting and raving and everything, kind of give you guys some advice. I think we're going to wrap it up here. I've enjoyed talking with y'all, seeing you. Again, guys, I've talked about many different angles, including housing and so on. It's important that, whether you're a landlord or you're a tenant, we need to have respect for each other. If you detect that a landlord's a slumlord, or if the landlord, if you get a sixth sense that you got a bad client, and let me tell you something, your landlord, if you walk them out to their car, hey, why don't I walk you out to your car? If their car's trashed, then you can bet that your apartment will be. I always tell tenants, hey, man, how about I come over and visit you at your other apartment right now, and we'll just see how shit's going down there, and then we'll figure out whether or not you can come and live at my property. Just because somebody's messy doesn't mean they're going to be a bad tenant. But if they're just going to tear it up, then no, I don't think so, because you're not going to destroy my life and yours together. So I defend both tenants and landlords all the time. I do not defend landlords or tenants when they are actually the person that is principally causing the problem. In other words, if a landlord hires me and I find out they're really a slumlord, I get rid of them. If I hire tenants that are delusional and lying and they're actually the problem there, I'll drop their case and refund their money because I will not help the party responsible for actually doing it. In other words, I won't be leveraged either way. I'll always work for the honest party, not the party that's trying to scam and create havoc. So, just to be clear, guys. All right. So, anyways, I've enjoyed talking with y'all, and I think I'll make a video about landlord. We talk about it a little bit. So, yeah, I going to take care of that phone issue, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Happy holidays.